I've got a very, very big message for you, especially if you're a guy. We're failing, guys. We're failing as men. Failing in our purpose. We're failing our objectives. We're not going anywhere. We've hit a plateau. Pretty much hit rock bottom. And it's pretty fucking bleak. We've reached an all-time low with society. Or rather, masculinity has reached an all-time low. So many men are now just dropping out of their masculine frames. We're losing sight of who we are. We are now the ones who are being oppressed in a highly feminine dominated society. Okay, look, it was fine when women got equality, you know? They got the right to vote, the right to enter the same jobs as we have occupied. If women wanted to go into STEM jobs, that's fine. It's fine by me. But when did it get to a point where we as men actually lost our identity as men? When did it get to a point that we suddenly just forgot our purpose and were devoid of all forms of responsibility and accountability? Personally, it's sickening. And I'm taking a stand against this shit. Say what you want. Call me a misogynist if you want. If that's the case, then so be it. I guess I'm a misogynist then. Even though I've got nothing against women. More power to them. But also, I'm all about empowering men, my brothers. I'm all about empowering you. When did you fall off your purpose? When was it acceptable to just say, you know what, I'm gonna throw in the towel and I'm just gonna kick back. I'm gonna jerk off to porn all day, play video games. I don't need a job. I don't need a job that pays well. I don't need goals and ambitions. When did that become the new norm, boys? I'm sorry, I must have been sleeping on that because I'm not about that. So allow me to bring to light the reasons why masculinity is depreciating. This is why we as men aren't getting with women, okay? This is why we aren't moving anywhere in life. This is why we aren't achieving goals. And also why women are just starting to propagate and just think more men are trash. And you know what? I agree with them. I agree if this is the way that men are going to carry themselves to be. If this is the way that you're going to continue to live your life like some sort of degenerate who has no purpose in life, no drive. Come on, man, we're better than that. We are scorned for wanting to be more masculine. In school, teachers are now teaching boys to be more submissive and feminine. I mean, what? Well, come on, we all know this. Deep down intrinsically, you know that the best way to attract a feminine female or attract a female is to have a strong masculine presence. And I know for a fact that everybody who's listening to this is going to prioritize this because let's face it, we all want girls. We all want to bang the hottest girls. We all want to hook up with the sexiest girls in town, okay? We want the baddest chicks. We want to be going after these girls and we want to win them over. I mean, let's be real. Come on, let's be real. Most of you guys right now are probably watching this and fucking liking some IG girls pics. Just sending loads of heart emojis and fucking sweat emojis on some ass pics. Don't cap me, bro. Don't fucking cap me. I know exactly what you're doing. I used to be that guy. Now it's time to draw a line in the sand and get back onto our mission. Because the only way that you're going to get with girls like that is if you actually elevate yourself. And it seems as though we've forgotten that. So allow me to re-educate and bring this back into the front of our minds and push away all that corrupted shit that society's been spewing all over us. I understand that times are tough. We can't let this bring us down. I mean, there are reasons for this. There are reasons why we are in this situation, why we're in this predicament. We're going to highlight them and paint a clearer picture to educate anyone who's stuck in this rut. Let's begin with families, okay? Most families, if not all, are dysfunctional in some way, shape, or form. Now, the problem with today's day and age, the modern family, a lot of boys are being raised by single mothers, okay? Whether that's through divorce because there was a disagreement between the two parents, or if there were other external circumstances, right? A lot of guys are being brought up without father figures. Me, talking from personal experience, my parents were divorced. I was raised by a single mother. I have a stepfather in my life, and honestly, he has been a fantastic male role model. So in that case, I'm lucky. But it didn't change the fact that for the longest time, I felt as though my own biological father wasn't there. And a lot of my own deep insecurities came out because of that. It made me question my own purpose as a man. And one of the main reasons why, for the longest time, I was in a very submissive state. I used to always avoid conflicts, avoid competition, which breed masculine traits, funnily enough. Because as men, we are the hunters. We go out there. We get shit done. The females are the ones who stay at home. They're the foragers. They are the ones who preserve our castles. I'm going to use a cringy king and queen analogy here, right? We as kings, we go to war, we go to battle, while our queens stay in our castles and they maintain it for us. Now, how are we supposed to do that if we don't even have the moral fiber to actually exhume confidence within ourselves? The truth is, in today's day and age, one of the biggest problems with society is that it is flooded with instant gratification. What do I mean by instant gratification? I mean, let's just look at it. We've got social media. Everyone's attention spans are just being completely torn apart with apps just vying for your attention. We've got video games. Video game companies doing the exact same thing. Do you really think that these companies care about your personal feelings when they are pandering to your requests? Half of them don't even do it right. Let's take Bungie, for instance. When was the last time they actually gave a shit about their community? This is an ex-gamer talking. A gamer who had an addiction for 12 years long. How many times have you, hand on heart, said, you know what, I feel great after an insanely long gaming session? You could probably count that on your hands. And let's be real, it's not the game that was giving you that high. It was the communication, the conversation, and interaction with your friends. You don't need a specific game to do that. It's actually the chat room that you're in or the platform that you're on. Whether it's an Xbox group chat, a PlayStation PSN chat, whether you're in TeamSpeak or Discord. Let's be real here, okay? Let's not bullshit. Let's cut that out and deal with the main source. It's the communication. But we're so caught up in instant gratification that it's now got itself hooked into us. And we as men have been devoid of our purpose for too long. The next thing, which is huge, which has been corrupting our minds, is porn. Porn has just been, it's just been liquidating our minds. It's absolutely evil. It's a poison. Not only does it give you a fake sense of dopamine levels that hijack your brain and cause you to then feel as though you're achieving the same sort of gratifying feeling, a satisfaction of sex with a woman, which you're not getting because you're just there busting gallons of nuts over yourself. But at the same time, it's developing unhealthy and unrealistic expectations of what natural sex should be, which is why so many guys actually experience hang-ups when they get with women. This is one of the main reasons why women are just doing away with the majority of guys, because there is a small group of guys out there who are actually achieving their purpose, who aren't failing at life as a man. This material here is to help all the men who are struggling with this get back on their purpose. It's not too late. It's never too late. We need to finish this whole chapter of instant gratification based activities and be done with it. It's not doing us any favors. If anything, it's just destroying you. It's slowly killing you in here and in here. Not to mention drugs. Guys, recreational drugs is just foolish in my opinion. I personally don't do them. It's never been an interest of mine. Now I do empathize with anybody who has come from a background where drugs have been heavily been a part of the family, or whether you've been in social groups with that, but that's why you develop the ability to be discerning. You develop the ability to move yourself away from those activities. Have a bit of confidence and assert yourself. It's another thing that doesn't happen enough. Men have forgotten how to assert themselves, and they just become these doormats, these rugs. Grown men simping for girls that don't want anything to do with them, but they will take advantage of you because you let them. It's people like them who have given rise to this whole new culture where men are now seen as disposable objects. Honestly, we are being made a mockery of. Masculinity now gets laughed at. 20 years ago, it was something to be respected. Men can't even respect themselves, so how can we expect women to respect us? I'm keeping this centrally focused on women because fundamentally at the base root of everything, that is our objective as men, to find a woman to procreate with. You are not fulfilling your purpose if you are not being steered in that direction. However, while that is a fundamental objective for us biologically, from a holistic standpoint, men have to create their own value. When you are staying at home, playing video games, jerking off to porn, or whatever other weird shit that you're consuming fucking hentai, going nuts over furries and all this shit. When you're doing that, coupled with drugs and horrendous sleeping habits, you're just propagating this self-destructive cycle and further dealing damage to your brain. All you're doing is just liquidating your brain cells and wasting time, which is the most valuable currency that you can have. What's worse is there's loads of you guys out there who are wasting your time on, one, these activities, and two, the wrong kind of people. Look at the guys who are just throwing themselves willingly, mind, body, and soul, at girls who will never, ever, ever accept you as a partner because they don't respect you. One thing you've got to get into your minds is that if you have no respect for yourself, if you have no confidence, you can have all the money in the world, you'll never be able to earn the respect of other men or women. If you really want to look at it from a gamer's perspective, this is a giant first world, like, MMORPG, all right? And every time we sit down at a computer or a console and plug into that, you are giving up the hours that you should be spending leveling up your IRL skills on some digital avatar platform. I'm a strong advocate for everything in moderation, but let's face it, this video here is for all the people who've been doing things in excess. Let's get to how we can break the cycle. Step 1, you can replace bad habits with good habits. The key to this is to adopt holistic, wholesome, and delayed gratification activities. We need to replace the rush of dopamine and the external buzz that we get from all these various exercises with good quality ones. Instead of playing an excess amount of video games, let's start to bring that down and replace it with reading books. Okay, there's so much information that you can learn from books, which, one, stimulate your mind. Okay, they stimulate your brain and increase your ability to focus, increase your ability to digest information and use it and apply it to everyday life. There's so many more functions and processes that are involved compared to just sitting in front of a screen like a brain dead zombie. Human beings are social creatures. To that end, instead of staying inside, let's start going out more. Go outside, see the world, go for a walk. Okay, when was the last time that you actually just went out for a walk and took in nature? You just sat down and observed your surroundings around you. I guarantee that if you start doing that, you'll, one, start to become more confident with being outside, and you'll also start to notice those pretty girls that you've wanted to be with and you wanted to slide inside for the longest time. And if you're lucky, who knows, they might just start noticing you back. Continue on the path of self-improvement and focus on exercising delayed gratification activities. On the point of self-improvement, one major aspect that I found that worked for me is gratitude journaling. Every single day, I write inside it one point, starting with what I'm grateful for. Then I talk about what I've learned about myself throughout the day. It can be a good thing or a bad thing. Be kind to yourself with this gratitude journal, okay? If you did do something that you weren't proud of, or, if you had a relapse when it comes to practicing, say something like NoFap, or if you played video games and you started to feel bad about it, there's no need to beat yourself up. Just write it down, and you start to translate your thoughts and you put that into physical action. Okay, we need to focus on the mechanical movement behind it. Start looking at breaking these actions down, put them into bite-sized chunks. When it comes to journaling specifically, start writing everything as you think, as you feel it. Okay, you will be surprised with how much you can come out with. I promise you, if you keep this, just these 3 steps, okay, I don't want to overload you. You keep these 3 steps up for a month, or maybe not even a month. Do it for 2 weeks. Do it for 2 weeks, or even a week. You've got the choice. You will see an instant improvement. If you continue this way for a month, you might even be surprised and not want to even pick up a video game anymore. Or you will find that you've started to develop better habits. You start to feel better about yourself. And you'll start to talk to people. You'll start to feel as though you have integrated with society again. And you'll start to regain your confidence as a man. Because masculinity goes beyond what's in between your legs. Masculinity is a mindset. As a friend of mine, Hamza, says, do the hard work, especially when you don't want to. I would like to leave you with this quote, which I believe is just as powerful. As men, we are constantly in this turmoil, in this battle. When you're going through hell, keep going.